in the studio again. And as I've said before, Emily, the 6 days between recording they're just so long.
I know. I agree.
I had a
look forward
dream
to
about recording today, last night. I was like,
Really?
yeah.
What was that dream?
It was a good dream. It was a positive dream. I don't think I was anxious at all, but yeah, it was like I woke up with a happy smile on my face, and then there's like beautiful fall day and everything about doing Clearly Speaking the podcast. I was like, this is a good day for a number of reasons.
Yes, this is an extra special episode. We have an awesome guest in our studio, and we are, of course, celebrating that with some delicious wine.
We are, but before we get started, well, no, let's backtrack a little bit here. Let's go ahead and introduce our guest because she needs to be a part of this bit. Dana Powell.
Hello, Dana.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
Actress
Yay.
extraordinaire, also a native of Missouri.
That's
And
right.
you can find her on as Cam's sister on Modern Family, and she's also in Bridesmaids. And she has her own podcast with one of her best friends out in California called the Absolute Worst Podcast.
Right.
And she did
she filmed a pilot television show here in St. Louis, which we'll let her tell you a little bit about that project, which is how we met. And what started this whole conversation about bringing her on the show.
Bringing her on and discussing things. But before we get started, I wanted to wish Emily a happy birthday. It is her birthday very soon, like within the next 48 hours of recording the episode. And I wanted to present her with some flowers.
And that they are lovely,
from
by the way.
Thorn Studio.
And then, my gosh, is there a present
and there's
too?
a present as well.
Gosh.
So you have to open the present.
I'm not even there.
It's in for our listeners that I will try to visually describe it. It's a black and white bag with turquoise tissue paper. What chevron pattern. Thank you.
I have a feeling this is, oh my God, this is so funny. So this is an insulated wine tumbler. So now, rather than drinking wine out of the plastic go cups at Michelle's house, I can bring my tumbler along with me.
And read what it says on the front.
Wine diva. Do you think I'm a wine diva?
I think you are a wine diva for sure. And actually, I bought.
Oh my God, this is funny. So this tumbler actually has a wine glass inside of it. So take a look at that, Dana.
Oh my gosh, it's so cute.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and it's like a little, you can turn this.
That is amazing. I'm a little bit jealous, I have to admit.
Well, when's your birthday? We'll get you one.
It was already September 1st.
Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. Okay. Well,
Christmas is around the corner.
Right. And I got this at Abigail's gift shop here in St. Louis. They always have such great things.
Oh, my gosh. And then look at these journals. So I am like an avid journalist. Not journalist, meaning like I'm out on the streets, like doing interviews, but I am always taking notes in my journals. And so this is an excellent gift for me, but this is very funny because one of the books says, Best Breakfast Chardonnay, wines that pair well with other wines, and energizing wines for the shower.
Yeah, just a little something.
Wink, wink.
Right. Honestly, I've never thought about drinking wine in the shower, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to try it sometime very soon.
I get a little worried about the wine getting watered down. Like the bath, that makes a lot of sense.
Oh, I'm so excited about this gift too. I forgot. I was like, I know I got her something else.
The gift that keeps on giving. Great quotes from great women. Oh, yeah. From Marie Claire to Michelle Obama, inspiring words from women who have shaped our world. Ooh,
it is perfect.
This is great. Thank you, Michelle.
Happy birthday.
This is a great way to start the podcast. Can we start all of them this way?
Sure.
Present,
sure. Absolutely. I'm happy to do that. But anyway, so Emily's birthday is within 48 hours of our recording. Right. So when this comes out, she'll have already been
I will have aged.
Her new age. she'll have been it for a few weeks, maybe.
Like a fine wine, I will have aged.
Right.
So speaking of wine, I want to share with you what we selected and why for this journey today. So knowing that we were going to have Dana on, I wanted to find something fantastic from Missouri since, of course, Missouri is your home state. Yep. And so I talked to my friends at the wine merchant, like I always do. And I was like, look, I want this to be, I want this to be delicious and really showcase what Missouri's got. So this is Chandler Hill is the producer. It's a 2017 Vignole. And I mean, I think this is outrageously delicious and surprising. What do you think, Dana?
It is so good. I'm going to show.
Yes.
Nice.
So
it's so good. I made my husband and my nanny taste it before we started because I was like, this is amazing.
So it's not like you've made them taste it to make sure there wasn't anything wrong with it, right?
No.
They were, right. Here, you do this first.
They're not my poison tasters.
Right. Well, I think this is really good. This kind of it's got a lot of pineapple on the nose, a lot of kind of mandarin orange, some minerality, very pretty flowers. In fact, I kind of think this reminds me of that, that salad that you always get at over the picnics in the summertime. It's got marshmallows and fruits, like an ambrosia salad. Like that's what this smells like to me.
Which is home. My grandma makes that for holidays.
See? Perfect. That's great.
This has less calories than the ambrosia salad. So this would be my go-to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Welcome. And Sam, you need to come on.
Did Sam
slide
get
on
some?
over here and get his glass. Yeah. Did you get a chance to meet Dana, Sam?
No.
You should come on over and say hi. He's very cute. You'll really
Hi.
see him.
Cheers.
Cheers. Sam is your engineer?
Yes.
He is.
Yes,
He
that is
is.
the added benefit of recording here at Chalk City. So
That's very nice. He looks very professional.
He is very
Indeed.
professional. He works wonders with our audio, and he did our intro. We just told him what we wanted, and he put it all together. It was really nice.
Yeah.
We're very pleased with our relationship here at Chalk City Studios. So Emily is always saying, this reminds me of the summer rain and the organic droplet of water as it landed on that grape that was sunning itself. What is your reaction to this wine?
Oh, my reaction was like, ooh, this is good. Like, I got so excited that my hometown came out. My husband always says when I get excited or angry or homesick, he can hear my accent. So I'm sure he heard a lot of it because I was like, this is real good.
I need to get me some more of this stuff.
Exactly. It was delicious. I think most people don't think of Missouri when they think of wine, but I know a lot of really amazing wines have been coming out of Missouri, and this one is a perfect example.
Yeah. So is that a struggle for you to hold back the Missouri accent? Is it something you have to be really hyper aware of?
At times, sometimes I don't notice it. When I went to college, actually in Springfield, at the time it was Southwest Missouri State, and now it's MSU.
Right.
They tried very hard to beat my accent out of me.
Really?
Yeah, to make me more versatile. But it definitely comes out. So a story I have about that, I was in a movie called Bridesmaids several years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I play a flight attendant on the flight when they all are flying for the bachelorette party. And one of the major things that I say that they used in the trailer, and it was they played it at the Oscars and stuff, was, ma'am, you're going to have to sit down. It was something like that. But when I finished it, they were like, oh my God, that was so great. And that accent is so funny. And I remember thinking,
Accent?
what accent are they talking about?
Way to get into the character, Dana.
I know. It was like my angry mom, like my real mom, when she gets annoyed with me. So I guess that's why it came out. So yeah, I guess I have an accent that it mostly comes out when I'm tired, homesick, or angry. But it's in there.
So where in Missouri then did you grow up if they were beating the accent out of you in Springfield?
Yeah, I grew up in Springfield.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
it's interesting to me, Missouri has such a wide range of accents. Like, I don't know where you guys are from originally, but you have zero accent to me.
Oh, well, thank you.
And my husband is from St. Louis originally.
Oh, okay.
He has zero accent to me.
But some people think that we do have an accent here in St. Louis.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
But did you guys know that when people are going into newscasting, like broadcasting to be news anchors and stuff, they want them to listen to St. Louis people because they have the least, it's a very mild and comforting accent.
Oh, that is interesting.
I'm going to put that on my new Tinder profile. Have a mild and comforting accent.
Yeah.
You should date me because of my mild and comforting accent. Well, you know, when my dad was in the military, so we moved all over the States, and I acquired whatever accent was from where I lived. And so we had gone from South Carolina to Hawaii, and nobody could understand me in Hawaii.
Oh my God.
I was like, let us go up the hill. And they're like, what are you saying? And then I was there for 3 years. And then we left Hawaii to go back to Alabama. And again, nobody in Alabama, but I just sort of assimilate to whatever culture I'm in.
Yeah, you're a verbal chameleon.
I am a verbal chameleon, but I have a girlfriend of mine who swears that as we drive south on 55 towards New Orleans, my accent my Southern comes out with every mile that we go further. It's either on 55 driving south or drinking a whole lot. So, but now with your accent, maybe it'll just come out today anyway.
Yeah, it might. I know mine slips in and out.
It's okay though. But Emily, she's not from St. Louis.
No, I'm from Peoria, Illinois.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably like the part of the country where everybody's like, they have the perfect like non-accent accent.
Yeah, it's you know, one of those cities that if it plays in Peoria, you know, it's
We're really hoping that Cliterally Speaking the podcast is a hit in Peoria, because then it'll be a smash hit across the the nation.
It'll play anywhere.
Our first fan club will be out of Peoria, I'm sure. Even if we have to pay them, you know, they'll be our fans. So anyway, I'm going to take a little sip here.
Yeah, because we need your description.
Oh, my description?
Not chimed in yet. I'm curious.
I love how mine was like, oh, it's real good. And you were like, pineapple and ambrosia.
This is, yeah.
Yeah, so
I always like Michelle's descriptions too. Hers are
Michelle, what are your words?
Special.
My words are, it's like this is a really light wine, so, and it's not a heavy wine, so it makes me think of like that when you're wearing a summer sundress and you have like barely any panties on, that wind comes up underneath you. It's kind of like that.
It's wind kissed cheeks.
Wind kissed cheeks. Whichever cheeks you want to make sure is kissed. But yeah, because it's like it's definitely, I think, a summer. To me, a summer wine.
Panty wine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
It's light and refreshing.
Right. Much like a breeze underneath your sundress on a hot.
When you're wearing barely any panties. Yeah.
Wearing barely any panties. Yes. Like every day in the summer for me is that way. Every day.
I can dream for that.
I can dream, you know. We can talk about whatever we want to talk about. We can live in whatever life we want to live in on our podcast.
Right. True. Well, I thought it was funny. So when I was listening to the Absolutely Worst podcast, which I do not think is a very fair name for the podcast, 'cause absolutely great. It's similar. It's similar to ours in that you're just having honest, raw conversations with each other. And but I loved your pilot episode was very funny, and you have this whole conversation about underwear in that.
Yeah, I have a lot of underwear problems. I have a real history of underwear stories. I didn't know if we wanted to break into that.
I mean, do you have a journal that you're keeping all of these underwear stories?
No, journaling feels like homework to me. So
yeah.
I really am I admire people who can, but I cannot. And also, I think if I had a journal of underwear stories, it would become volumes, and I can't handle that. I have that body type that underwear are like, nope, don't want to stay up on you. And so I walk out of them. I tuck dresses in them. It's a mess.
See, this is a problem I do not have. I have the opposite problem. The panties for me just want to get further inside of me. Like they just constantly creep up and
I've heard people have that problem, and I'm like, well, you could be me. They could be jumping off of you. So I don't know what you first.
I usually gauge my like my weight gain or my weight loss of it, like how easy the panties stay up. If I have gained weight, they're constantly falling down over underneath the belly that, you know, from the babies, and it's like, oh, this is just a pain, but I'm not going to buy any bigger ones. Well, I'm going to stay up.
At some point you're like, they roll down, you pull them up, they roll down, you pull them up, and finally you're just like, they just want to live there. I have to take them wherever they rested.
Yeah.
I have a problem where, so I have lots of panties, lots of them, because
she shared that she has leather ones too, which I don't have leather ones.
I have all kinds, and pearl. I have a pearl pair too, which is
oh my gosh,
really fun. Yeah.
Like I said, if it plays in Peoria, it plays everywhere.
But I have enough that I don't have to do laundry for a really long time.
Oh, this is funny.
Right? Yeah. Because I used to travel. I spent like a decade where I was on the road 47 weeks out of the year. And so, you know, I didn't want to do laundry ever. So I would just like empty my bag and refill it. And I would do that for several months. So I just moved in. When did I move?
Memorial Day weekend.
Right.
I think you moved into your new
So
house.
I moved. This last weekend, this is the end of October, just did laundry for the first time. So I have.
Emily has a lot of clothes.
A lot of clothes and a lot of panties.
I have a lot of panties. So I have this new problem with them though, is that they're
clean. I don't know what to do with them, right? I have to put them away.
That's the problem.
I need a whole new closet for my panties.
I have nowhere to put them. Actually, my problem is that they've all decided to give way. Like the elasticity is just on all of them, like all at once, simultaneously. They've all like.
Did you buy them all at the same time?
You know, within relatively, But that is, I mean, they are expensive.
Oh, panties are crazy expensive, especially if you want anything that's not like a bucket you put your legs through.
Right.
I used to call those my period panties, and I was like, okay, yeah, you wear those when you're having a period. Well, I had a hysterectomy, you know, several years ago. I still have my period panties though. Some days I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna put those on because I'm feeling like it's a Netflix night in my yoga pants, and I don't need to go out.
Yeah, I support that fully. You have to have a plethora of kinds of panties. I'll be honest with you, just because it's just us three girls in the world.
Right. And Sam.
And Sam. Oh, Sam, let me apologize already. This is very not sexy. I still have maternity panties. My son is 7.
Wow.
There's no reason for me to have maternity panties.
Well,
I hated maternity panties. I got rid of those as soon as I was done with my last kid.
Oh my God. I feel like if I needed to, I could pull them over my head, and sometimes that's what I need.
So do you still pull them out because you enjoy wearing them from time to time? Or is it like maybe one day I'll need them?
No. It's
no.
definitely like, oh, I have cramps and I feel like I look today. I'm going to wear those maternity panties.
Do you cut out little eye holes?
I should. All the way over.
Yeah, so we know what you're wearing for Halloween then. You've got it already, yeah.
I'm the panty ghost. Woo!
My maternity panties.
Well, at least when they're over your head, they're not going to fall off. Right.
Thank goodness.
You hope. You could call yourself birth control. That's your costume.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I remember control. I was in Sunday company at the Groundlings for a long time, and I don't know if you know what that is, but it's a reputable theater where a lot of like SNL people came out of, and my group was specifically extremely talented. I always knew that I had hit a really good character when I would try on the costume and do the voice for my husband. He would be like, "Oof, that's a boner killer."
Oh, that's great. Okay, so what do you remember one of these characters?
Yes, I did an old woman once that he found very unattractive, but she was really sweet. She would hand people hard candies in the middle of church.
Oh yes, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
she was very sweet and cute.
Was she modeled after anyone you knew?
Yeah, she was modeled after, you know, the old ladies that you see in church who always have a piece of hard candy. They're real sweet, but you can't talk about much but food with them. And God.
Right.
And the weather.
And the weather, yeah.
They would always tell me how cute my kids looked. Oh, your kids, they all so cute. And I would be a little sarcastic back and say, I don't know why they all have 3 different daddies, you know, but just to make them, you know, be quiet. It's like, why are you commenting on my kids?
Like, oh, honey, this and some hard candy.
Why don't you take those babies to the cry room, you know, that kind of stuff.
I think Michelle's been enjoying the wrong kind of candy.
Well, like I said, I do like a summer dress and the breeze. Yeah. Well, I'm almost out with my glass. We're going to take a real quick break, refresh our glasses, and we're going to come back with some more stories with Dana Powell. All right?
Yay.
Oh, sorry about that.
That was good timing, at least.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm getting low. I hope they refill soon.
Yeah, I mean, and you can refill
at any
point. There's no holding back here.
I don't know how to turn my notification off on this. Because I'm not in messages. I'm going to quit messages.
Look at that.
I think if you quit it, it'll.
Because I was quit before.
Hold on one second. I don't think it's me, but let me just make sure.
That was somebody.
Here, I'm gonna
texting.
clean up the mess over here a little bit since it's so pretty with the flowers. No, I don't like things organized. Okay. There we go. Look.
Oh, she's gonna display everything.
I'm
nice.
And
the wine cup.
Yes. Here we go. All right.
I was gonna pick up like a super pack of red Solo cups, so I'd have something to drink out of at your house.
Oh my God.
But, you know.
Yeah.
That might be a little. That might be a little self-serving.
That actually might make me like have a mini stroke.
Emily's all about the stemware, and I'm just about the delivery.
Me too.
You know? It's like
care less.
You know what though? It makes a difference because, well, like the other night, Ken and I opened a bottle of wine, and it was one that I knew to be quite good. And you know, he wasn't thinking about the wine glass. He got this tulip shaped glass, which I like for like a glass like this would be perfect. But he poured it and I was like, what are you doing with that glass? Well, so I took a sip and I'm like, it tasted so uninteresting, nothing at all going on. And I was like, this is a wine glass problem. So we switched to a glass that's a little closer to this, little narrower at the top. Holy smokes. Totally different wine. Gorgeous.
Is that true?
Yep.
I got her the Wine Diva sippy cup because she knows this kind of stuff.
Try it. Are you serious?
Now I understand. See, I've got this big wide open mouth. Am I ruining it? I still enjoy it.
You know what? I actually do enjoy a white wine out of a goblet often. Like I do. So I think you're fine there. It really makes the differences in your reds.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you're okay. I'm not judging you.
I'm not a classy wine drinker. I'm just like glub, 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 glub.
Yeah, not necessary at all. You don't have to worry about being a classy wine drinker. You're a wine drinker. That's all that matters.
I love it.
Right. All right. So we're gonna.
All right. Are you ready?
Yep.
Roll back in.
There we go.
All right, we are back. Our glasses are filled.
Properly
refreshed. Even Dana's glasses.
Mine is filled much fuller than you guys.
So the thing is, Dana, is that you have to drink the whole bottle by yourself, and Emily and I are splitting the bottle here. So, you know, if you need to really chug some down, however fast you need to, we can talk about anything else while you're guzzling the wine, or if you want to sip it.
Feels like a really tough assignment, but I'm here
You think you can handle it?
I really appreciate how supportive you are. You know, she's the best person we could have had on the podcast tonight.
I know. We should have had her on earlier.
She should have been on every week.
Yeah.
I'm listening to all your episodes. I love you guys.
Yay!
You're so kind.
Well, that's very sweet. Thank you.
I'm kind of an asshole when it comes to like creative things, and I just love the message that you're sending out to women. I feel like you're building a really strong community. You've had a lot of like female, sexual questions, and Dr. Lynn was on, and Dr. Donna, and I'm into you guys. So I hope people have subscribed and not just downloaded one episode.
Well, I appreciate you subscribing, because now that's you and my mom and my dad and Emily's mom and dad. Oh, and then I have my kids subscribing under their email addresses. So that's 10. So we're good. I mean, I think the sponsors are going to be knocking down the door in like 35 seconds. So they're going to be wanting to give us money.
The truth of it is, my family, no one in my family has heard the podcast yet. And yeah.
No one can. No, my parents are not allowed to listen to my podcast because we're very honest and talk about sexuality and all those things too. And I'm like, just don't.
We'll never be able to look at each other the same way.
Well, I had to come clean with my parents that I had sex 3 times. So, we're okay now. Now they realize that
I let my parents believe whatever they want to. So if they think he was a miraculous, an immaculate conception, I let them.
Well, I think your mom is subscribed to our podcast, so now you gotta be careful, right? Because she likes
to tell you guys that I got a tattoo, but if she listens, I shouldn't.
You got a tattoo? That is brave.
You guys, I'm probably too old to make that kind of decision, but it meant a lot to me, and I had been thinking about it for a long time. Can I show you guys?
Yeah. You're not gonna make us guess. Like, is it the Missouri state flag?
Sorry, it's not. I love Missouri, but I didn't put it on my body.
It's already in your heart.
It's in my heart for sure.
Yeah.
Another one, I might get something Missouri. I do love Missouri very much, but this is for my child. I'll show you guys. It's probably backwards on there, but
is this Henry?
It says Henry, and it's in his 6-year-old handwriting.
Oh my God, that is
that's
adorable.
really cool. Now, so you had him write it out on a sheet of paper and then had the tattoo artist put that on your...
She gave the tattoo gun to her son.
Well, he was really good,
Really good. I think we found his vocation.
If things don't work out in 3rd grade or something, he knows where he's got a fallback already,
No, but I got it because I've told people, like, I only have one child and I live in Los Angeles. I don't have family out there. I'm pursuing this career that's kind of crazy. And I had siblings and I love them very much. I have 2 younger sisters and we're so close. I just adore them. And so sometimes I'm like, am I doing him a disservice by not having a sibling for him? He's going to be an only child, but that's kind of the decision I have to make if I'm going to be out here and pursuing my career. I had a really difficult pregnancy. I'm also getting older, so it's not really an option at some point very, very soon. Mm-hmm. And so it really had a lot of weight and meaning behind it for me. Every time I look at it, I get a little teary.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah.
What does he say? Have you showed it to him?
I wasn't going to. I was just going to kind of let it be. But my husband, Dan Tipton, was like, Henry, look what mommy got. And so I did. I showed him. And he goes, it says Henry. And he just smiled so huge. He was so happy.
Nice. That's really sweet. And I love the colors. So it's like the primary colors. I mean, that's what it looked like. Yeah. Primary colors. Mm-hmm. Very, very cool.
So, you preface that story with, I'm maybe too old to get my first tattoo, which I think that there is definitely a problem with that statement. I think you can get a tattoo at any age, but my mom got her first tattoo like 3 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. My mom just had her 70th birthday. So, and now she went in for her second tattoo. And they're both addictive. And it was so empowering for her. She you know, so my mom's an accordionist. And so
that's super cool.
Yeah. So she went in, her first tattoo is this accordion with these flowers. It's almost like if you could picture like a pinup artist doing an accordion with flowers, that's what the tattoo looks like. And she just loves it. She was so inspired. And then
where did she put it?
It's on her ankle, or kind of above her ankle leg kind of area.
Yeah.
And then she went in and got another tattoo like a year later, and it's on the inside of her forearm right here. And she got the fox from The Little Prince, you know, that story, and with these little stars. So The Little Prince is one of my favorite books, like all-time favorite books. So she got that one, her nickname's been Little Fox forever, and then, you know, the connection with the Little Prince book. So she got that kind of for my brother and I, which I thought was awesome.
That's really sweet. That's the thing about getting tattoos. I think when you're older, like, you're not just going to get something that's fly by night you're a fan of at the time. It's right. You've probably thought about it for a long time. It's really important to you. At least that's how I feel about mine. But the girl who did it, they were so sweet to me. They played like a virgin. They all like they were like, we've got a virgin. They were so excited. And the girl who did it, her name was Heather, and she, everything just lined up so perfectly. That was exactly the person I wanted. And she happened to be the only person there when I walked in. It was so amazing. And she was like, you're going to get addicted. You're going to be back. I was like, am I? She was like, I think you are.
Well, I've thought about getting a tattoo. My older brother has a tattoo, and my sister has a tattoo. My younger brother does not, and I don't have a tattoo. I have lots of marks on my body from childbirth, surgeries, you know, getting big, getting small. But I had, you know, I in March will be 5 years since I finished my chemo treatment. I had colon cancer, and I have a scar from where the port was right here. Right. Yeah. And so I've thought, well, when I make it to 5 years, I've thought about putting like a butterfly over that port instead of it being this.
Oh yeah,
I love that.
Yeah,
that's the idea. Now, whether or not I actually get up enough nerve to lay there and let them, you know, stick me with a bunch of needles right there.
I know. I will say I'm such a big baby when it comes to that kind of stuff, because I had been thinking about it a long time. I don't know if you guys can see, but I have this giant scar.
Oh my God! Yeah. How'd that happen?
It goes all the way up to my elbow. I slipped on a ukulele finger chart, like I was learning to play the ukulele, and I slipped and did the splits and hit my arm on a doorknob.
Oh my God.
It shattered my entire arm. Eventually the bones died. They had to go, I had like 3 or 4 surgeries. They had to go back in, dig them out, blah, blah, blah. But when you have scars like that, there's something about, I initially thought I wanted to get that, and I very well may at some point tattooed, because I want to own it. There's something about those big moments in your life that can be traumatic, like you having colon cancer. Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah.
Remission. There's something about being able to write over that, your own story, and owning it. That's really important. So I don't know if you're going to ever do it, but if you did, I would be very happy for you.
I'm leaning towards it. It's just, you know, like scar tissue can be so sensitive, and that's the whole, like, can I take on that? I might need to drink a little bit of wine, but they might not let me do it, you know.
My girl told me, she was like, you know, they sell like juice box size wine now, so bring that with you.
I mean, if you survived everything that you went through for colon cancer, you can survive a little temporary discomfort to own
and did
that.
You gave birth to your children, or were they C-section?
Well, I 2 vaginal. The last one was a C-section. So
then you would be you would be like, this is nothing. I had a vaginal birth, and then also the recovery for a C-section is tough. Like you're fine, believe me.
Yeah. Oh, it's I mean, it's just more about, it's because it's right here. It's like, you know, you can see it, you know, and that's, I mean, but it'll help me with my supermodel career if I have the butterfly tattoo versus the port scar. Yeah. Because it's never too late to start your supermodel career. It's never too late.
It's never too late. There comes a point where it's too late to be like an astronaut or but not supermodel.
Or a jockey. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's like it's too late to be a jockey because I'm too tall now, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean.
Right.
Before I reached 5 foot, you know, if I could have just, you know, really focused in on my vocation at that point in time. But anyway, we were like, again, getting off on a tangent.
Sorry.
That's the whole point.
Emily is just taking us all kind of crazy places today.
It's not me, it's you.
No, it's the Missouri wine. That's what it is.
It really is.
It's just Chandler Hill wine, Vignole.
Well, you know, I have never settled into a tattoo personally. I went through a brief moment in time where I thought, "Ooh, if I got a tattoo, I know what I would do," and I entertained it for 30 seconds, and then I realized that it's become one that like all these people do. So now I don't want to do it. So I play cello, and I love you know I love art, and I love the 20s and everything that was happening in that period. So Man Ray has this amazing photo of the back of it's like the bare back of a woman, and she's very curvy, and then there's the F holes like inked on her back, and it makes her back look like a cello. So I always thought if I got a tattoo, I would do those F holes on my back.
That is beautiful.
I have seen some terrible examples.
You have to do your research. You have to go on like Yelp and all that, read all the reviews and figure out. Or you could come visit me, and there's a ton of great tattoo artists out here.
I was just going to say that this one girl in my improv class on Thursday nights, she goes out to California to get her tattoo done because she really likes the artist out in California.
Michelle.
What?
You take improv classes?
Yes, I do, and Emily has done it as well.
Yeah, it's fun. We love it.
You know we're friends then, right? My hugest love.
So I'll tell you why I started to take improv. I needed to find some kind of discipline because I was finding myself standing up at funerals doing bits.
Stop it.
I did. I was at the last one that's happened. I was at a friend who happened to also be a nun, and she passed away, and I was at the mother house, and I got up because, you know, it was time to talk about her, and I had everybody laughing, and half of my mind is going, what the fuck are you doing, Michelle? It's her wake. And I got in the car to drive back home. I'm like, I have to do something that's like more disciplined, a little more, because otherwise I was going to start going through the paper, looking up, you know, obituaries and like popping up at different funerals.
I can't handle that. That makes me laugh so hard.
Yeah, that's.
You realize, like, I think I need an outlet. Your funeral bits.
Yeah. I mean, I was getting real popular here in St. Louis, getting the calls, you know, hey, my uncle, he was kind of an ass. Can you come out and, you know, maybe say some things? I'm like, sure, I'll come out. I'll make something up.
The three of us are comedy soulmates. That's amazing.
But it is so much fun. And I'm like, it's like you get to play pretend with other people who want to play pretend.
Totally. I honestly, I can look back and directly relate my entire career to having made the decision to start doing improv. So I'm very grateful and I love it very much. Yeah,
it's a ton of fun. Fun.
Even if you don't want to be a performer, it just helps you get comfortable in social settings, or if you have to speak somewhere, it's just it's a really great tool for anybody to have, even if you're not a performer or if you're not a professional funeral bidder.
Well, you know, I identified a need, you know, and they always say on your business plan, identify a need, see if you can fulfill it, and your business is going to grow.
I'll be honest, I think you're going to have an amazing career at funerals.
Well, and as I get older, there's going to be more and more of them, you know.
Yes.
You know, that's fine. I mean, I put it out there, you know, if anybody needs me to come.
As you get more popular and as more people are dying, you raise your prices.
I mean, you might have another podcast that can spin out of this. It could be like a fresh take on the obituaries, except you know,
oh my God.
you do your
whatever.
Honestly, you guys, comedy and laughter is the best medicine. People need you. They need you.
Yeah.
That's what I say to everybody I date. You need me, as they run away, right? Yeah, I do have to share. It's kind of tragic, but so this person that I had been seeing for a long time, Well, anyway, we broke up, and that's fine. Except he went back to his ex-wife, and that's the second time that that's happened to me.
Wow.
And I was thinking, what is so bad about dating me that 2 people I've dated have gone back to their ex-wives? So they'd rather be with the person that they divorced and they hated over me.
No, you have to look at it this way.
I need to write into your podcast and get y'all to give me some advice on that.
Please.
I will.
But here's what I want to say to you. You taught them how to appropriately love, and they were like, I got to go back and fix this.
Oh, that's right. There you go.
Hey,
That's a nice
very insightful.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with that.
Well, and let's face it, they this last guy in particular, I don't know about the other one, but the last guy did not treat you with love and respect. So
well, there's that. I mean, that's a whole nother podcast, but we don't want to bring anybody down. But this is what happens. I'm halfway through a bottle of wine. I'm already talking about my failed relationships.
You have to write into my podcast because we'll make you feel like a shining star.
You'll be like, oh yeah, I've heard this story. Yeah. What can I do for her?
Well, at this note, should we take a little pause and you can write your first notes for your letter that you're going to send in to the Absolutely Worst Podcast? We'll refresh our glass and be right back.
All right. Oh, now it's cold in here.
I know. I'm like,
it's cold.
Jackets, you got all sexy, and now you're freezing.
I know. I'm like, oh.
Now because the air's kicked on. Yeah.
It's all about
this is what happens here.
Here we go. We matched today. We didn't even plan that. Isn't that awesome?
Well, Emily knows I like to wear black, so.
Blue.
So do I. It's
blue. It's slimming.
Yeah. There we go. We're back in action.
Whew.
I turned it down 1 degree, and that's what happened.
That made a difference.
Well, I mean, it's okay to have like airflow so we can breathe. Because it does get a little stuffy here. Because Emily talks so much. She does, and I have to.
I'm putting out a ton of carbon dioxide right now.
How did you guys meet? The 2
of you.
Should we save it?
Ask that question when we come back.
Because then we'll transition to how we got you here through.
Yes.
It's all.
That's a perfect.
Yeah.
You are so intuitive.
Yay! Let's give the thanks to the wine.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of wine, we didn't refresh our glass.
Ours.
And Sam, would you like a topper?
Sure.
Oh wait, let's twist your arm, Sam.
Yeah.
Put up a little bit more resistance. We'll fight there.
Is Sam as popular as you guys? We have an intern on our show. We call her Sarah the intern, and she's honestly more popular than we are.
Well, we're trying to make Sam as popular as Sarah the intern, and we've got almost talked him into doing a calendar. Sam, Sam the audio engineer. 12 months of Sam.
Oh, can we take that photo
Watch him slide those volume up. Watch him slide the volume down.
Why they would love it. I mean, we already have people asking for Sarah the intern T-shirts. Sam calendar.
That's great.
No, actually, we would love to have an intern, and we're really hoping we can have an unpaid intern.
That's what ours is, and she edits for me. She does the initial edit, and I go in and do the final. All you have to do is post it and say it's a great opportunity for a student in audio engineering. You would be surprised. We got so many people that wanted to be our intern, we couldn't believe it.
Wow.
Well, we're thinking, we're not trying to replace you in any way, Sam.
Oh, it's cool.
We need a photographer.
Don't worry.
It's fine. We need a photographer.
He's gonna have his calendar. He needs a break.
Yeah.
We are going to work on that. Can you come shirtless next time?
No.
Not with the temperature this cold.
If he comes shirtless, may I be a guest again?
You can be a guest host, right? You'll be like, Dana's in town, and she prefers our audio engineer without a knee shirt on.
It's a need. It's just a need I have.
I need wine and a shirtless audio engineer.
That's the first time that's ever been said about an audio engineer. We're not a cool group.
That's a really good point.
Well, Emily did make some comments about liking guys like on the Big Bang type of
I love
personality.
Dan
Nerds.
Tipton is a nerd, and I love him for it.
Yeah.
Why do you always say Dan Tipton? His last name.
We have to put that on our FAQs for our podcast because people were like, why does she call her husband by his full name? I call him that because when I first started dating him, I called him that anyway because it just flowed and seemed cute. Yeah. And then after we got married and moved out, we moved out here, got married out here, which is weird, but people started getting to know me more and more as my career grew, and they would call him Dan Powell, and I was like, he's Dan Tipton. And so I started calling him Dan Tipton again, and now all of our friends call him Dan Tipton.
Okay, well, this is a personal question, and we're on Clearly Speaking the podcast. During sex, do you yell at, "Oh, Dan Tipton! Oh, Dan Tipton! Oh, Dan Tipton! You're the best, Dan Tipton!" No, okay.
But
what?
He said to some of our friends once, he was like, "No, she just says, oh God, oh God. What are you doing? Stop it."
Well, my ex-husband's name is Dan, and so it's like, yeah, but not Dan Tipton. Yeah.
No,
but
your ex Dan, he's not as good as Dan Tipton because you're not together, and what a dummy.
Well, it's all fine. We have 3 great kids, and we've been good co-parents together, and the relationship post-divorce, after you go through that initial strangle, but it's been good, and my kids have they have a good relationship with their father. I've never kept the kids from him. He's never kept them from me. I don't believe in playing games with your children. It's just, I know a lot of single parents or divorced parents, either female or male, who have been on the opposite end of a vindictive ex-spouse who plays those games with their children.
That just doesn't serve anyone.
It doesn't, not at all. Let's roll back in. This is all like such priceless stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Are you ready?
Yeah. Wow. I hope everybody watches our YouTube channel, because the stuff that happens in between on our break and what we talk about is just fantastic. And you can get that on our YouTube channel, Clearly Speaking the podcast.
Right.
If you look it up. Go ahead, Emily.
You know what? I so many people have been saying we are having a hard time finding your podcast, which I think is very apropos considering
the title.
Yeah.
Cliterally. I don't know why anybody has a hard time finding clitoris anyway.
Well, I think it's because we spell it like literally with a C in the front, as opposed to the actual spelling of clitoris.
Clitorally. People so some folks go like very anatomically correct in their phonetics, and we're literally with a C, and it's literally with a C.
But I've been
Cliterally.
But I've been saying since the beginning, one of our taglines should be, "We're cliterally speaking. We're glad you found us."
Yes. Yeah. I love that.
Okay, well, this is the tagline I want to do. So, did you know there are 8,000 nerves in the clitoris, and we're going to hit every single one of them?
Ooh, yeah. I didn't know that, and I love it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Is that true?
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. And we did talk about that probably on the break with Dr. Lynn. So if you watch the YouTube of our recording with Dr. Lynn, we talked about the number of nerves in the clitoris.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that on YouTube then.
Make notes.
Draw a diagram. Show it to your husband.
Email questions.
Isn't it crazy that we live in this day and age, and yet so many women don't know their bodies as well as they should?
Yeah. It amazes me how many people, men and women, are embarrassed to say the word clitoris.
Like, oh my gosh, no.
Yeah. Why?
I don't understand, because men talk about it all the time, and it's so much so that it's become like cliche jokes and things.
Right.
But when women talk about it, it's like, ooh, that's dirty. You're got rode hard and put away wet. It's like, it's just regular lady speak.
It's an organ that is created for pleasure only.
Yes.
It doesn't do anything but give us pleasure. And I think that's hello.
Very special.
It doesn't make babies. It doesn't pee. It doesn't make milk. It
maybe
it doesn't even hold up the belly. I mean, it's like all it is there is to give you pleasure. So
and guess what, women, we deserve that.
Yeah,
all of us.
Yeah.
That was Emily.
I know, that was me having pleasure in your statement.
She was just enjoying the moment.
Yes.
Dan Tipton.
I'm going to start calling him by his full name then too.
It's good. I have one of my friends. Her name is Jessica, and we went to New Orleans for another friend of ours, her 50th birthday, and it was going to be the first time Jessica and I were traveling together, and we were going to be sharing a hotel room and down in New Orleans. And I said to Jessica, I said, hey, like, we're both single, and like, what if something happens and somebody wants to bring somebody home? And she's like, it's okay, girl, as long as you holler out my name.
That is a good point.
Right. So like for months ahead of time, we'd practice out. Oh, Jessica. And she's like, oh, Michelle. Just practicing out with random guys we're with. Like, what? I'm like, what? Who's Jessica? Don't worry about it. Oh, Jessica.
That would just turn it.
Enjoy it, sir. Just enjoy it.
He's looking around the room. Where is she? Where is she? It's like, yeah. So anyway,
that's his dream. He's like, please, where is she?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yet again, I'm sharing too much. This is what happens. Drink a little wine, I share too much.
No, never too much. That's what makes everything so relatable, is when we like share the things we wouldn't normally. You guys are building a community of women that can 2 thumbs up you. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, that was the whole point. Michelle and I have been able to have just really honest and vulnerable conversations with each other. And it's so refreshing, because not everybody wants to have that level of depth in a relationship. And, that was one of the things that inspired us. It's like, let's open that door to encourage other women to connect so deeply with each other. Good things can happen when you do that.
Absolutely.
Well, and I think we've always been open. I have anyway. Funerals and stuff like that. I just wherever I have
your job, we know.
I joke sometimes to say, I haven't met a mic I didn't like, right? But since the Me Too movement, I found in the last year, and again, I don't like calling it a movement, but since Me Too came upon the scene like it did a year ago, the conversations that I was having with my girlfriends were so much more depth and hurting, and there was like the level of sharing just really ratcheted up, which then impacted my desire to take that conversation to the podcast level. And when Emily and I were having wine just before Labor Day this year, and I said, this conversation we're having is absolutely so phenomenal. This should be a podcast. And Emily was like, yes. And then I said, and the name of the podcast needs to be Cliterally Speaking. She goes, yes. And now here you go. And we're many episodes in, and we went live. We released our episodes for the first time 2 weeks ago this Thursday, based on when we're recording this with Dana.
Which was 3 months early, by the way.
Oh,
Our
really?
original target to release was in January.
Yeah,
what we did is we rolled out some test episodes to a little test group just to get their feedback. And
it was overwhelmingly positive. And then Emily was she is doing a bang up job with the Clearly Speaking the Podcast Instagram account, that people were like, how do I hear you? How do I do this and that? And we both decided, like, we don't need to keep people waiting, because we don't want to, them going, oh, they just nothing but teases, there's nothing there, and then to lose interest. Yeah. And I don't know if this was like for you guys. I mean, you guys are professionals out there in LA, and you're used to like people all the time listening to you, but we've had over 367, almost 370 listens, and that's not just my mom and Emily's mom.
Right. No,
or you've got, and it's as far away as New Zealand.
Us too. We have New Zealand. Our international is just growing and growing, and it'll be the same for you too, because I think, obviously you probably have men listeners too, as we do. And what we found is, like, the women need us and want us, and the men are like, I can learn from this. Right. And our male listeners are diehard. they write in, they're interactive, they're amazing. And it's because they're like, these men are like, I want to know what women are thinking. And these women are going to tell me, you know, I think what you guys are doing is amazing. I'm just a huge, huge fan right off the bat.
Well, we are huge fans as well.
These are the men that are listening and that are engaging. These are the men that are the ones that should be in, you know, these more higher political positions, you know,
right?
I mean, it should be men and women, of course, that goes without saying. But, you know, a man who cares enough to listen and be a part of that conversation, you know, that's where things need to go.
It's huge. It means that they have an open mind and they want to know how we're thinking, because men and women are different, but they want to have a deeper understanding. And I really respect that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you asked us a question on the break and we weren't going to give you an answer, but you should go ahead and ask us again.
I know. I'm ready to ask you again.
Yes, we'll marry you. We'll marry you. No, just kidding.
It's like, okay, so now we like Dana Powell's Big Love series, you know. Dan's gonna be like, no, don't do any more podcasts. You have all these sister wives now. What's up with that?
I feel like he would be like, well, maybe that's not that. I would have to put some of your emotions.
Will they scream out my name during sex?
Exactly.
No, we're all just gonna scream Jessica's name. That's all. We would make it a pact. We're just gonna scream out Jessica's name.
I love it. I wanted to know how you guys met.
Yes.
It's so exciting.
It's very glamorous.
And it's almost 2 years to the day.
Yes. Ooh. In fact, this bouquet here is celebrating that.
No, celebrating your birthday.
No, but it's the same date.
Okay, but we can, that's right. That's right.
We met on my birthday 2 years ago.
Is that true?
On a movie set.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We were extras in the movie Parallel Chords, which just won some stuff at the film festival in LA.
The Film Festival.
Like got some like best screenplay, best writer. Yeah. And we're going to have Catherine Dudley Rose on the show in a few weeks. So we're going to do an episode with her. But Emily and I, we were extras, and we sat next to each other in the scene where the dad is playing the piano, and we did this.
Oh yeah, we were really interested in the performance and critically listened with a critical ear.
You could tell that I knew exactly what musical piece he was playing
because you're a musician.
Yeah, and she was like,
no. Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I wish. I'm a dancer. I'm a dancer.
Are you really?
Yeah.
You feel music. You feel music. You have the right to be there.
Yeah. Well, my daughter's a musician. She plays the saxophone, the piano, and the cello.
Oh, I didn't know she played the cello.
She played the cello, yeah.
See, for new friends, I've learned.
And I asked my daughter one time, we were listening to Apocalypse in the car. This is several years ago. And there was one piece, and it was getting really crazy, you know. And for me as a dancer, when I hear music, I see music, right? I see what the dance might be. That's how I appreciate it. And I just turned it off. I was like, because I couldn't make it right in my brain. And my daughter says, Mom, turn that back on. I go, Megan, it just doesn't make sense. She's like, there's like 8 different melodies going on in there. And I said, really? I think she was like 13 or 14. I said, Meg, when you hear music, what do you see? And she says, well, I see the sheet music. I see the music. And I'm like, that's impressive, because I couldn't tell you what an A sounds like to an F or a C, which really makes karaoke hard for everybody when they're with me, because I love to sing.
You're a star in the car.
But you see music as movement.
As movement.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, that's the only way that and that's how I express. When I have music, I express with movement. Yeah.
But Emily, do you see it as notes?
Oh goodness. No, I'm not a visual listener. Even though, yes, I do play. It depends. You know, if it's a piece that I've played, yes, I absolutely do see the music in my mind. If I'm listening to a new piece, usually I hone into a certain line of it. It'd be the melody, like what your daughter was saying, And then usually for me, that draws a parallel to a feeling I'm having. So like it strikes emotional chords.
Right.
That's usually what happens on my side.
Because music is like a universal language. I think that's what's so amazing, because you can hear it as emotion, or you can see it as movement. I think it's incredible.
Yeah.
Right. And there are some people that see colors when they hear various sounds. Yeah. You know, Apocalyptica is a group that's actually we're seeing.
Oh, they are great.
Yeah,
we saw them in concert.
The way they like whip their hair around when they play the cello. There's like 4 cellists.
Look them up. I don't know them.
Well, so this was my exposure to Apocalyptica. I also danced tango, Argentine tango, and they do the cover of Metallica's "Nothing Else Matters."
Yeah, that's a good one.
What?
And it is so beautiful on the cello that I didn't realize it was Metallica. I was like, really? Metallica has great songs, great music like this? Because I don't know. I mean, I might be dating myself here, but I was really like a new wave in the British, the Howard Jones and Duran Duran and, Frankie Goes to Hollywood kind of girl. I wasn't really a metalhead. I wasn't a rocker like that. So I was exposed to that song through Apocalyptica, and then they're from Sweden, I think.
Yes.
And saw them in concert here in St. Louis, and it was an excellent.
We were probably at that concert together, or we knew each other.
This would have been in 2011.
I think we were.
Yeah. I sensed
we were destined to be friends.
We were destined. So go ahead.
Tell me the name again, because we have to do a shout out for your listeners so they can look them up. What is it?
Apocalyptica.
Okay.
Like apocalypse.
Yeah.
Spelled Apocalyptica. So
look them up.
Yeah. 4 cellists.
Yeah. Look them
Totally
up on YouTube and like listen to Metallica, like their version of Metallica's "Nothing Else Matters." It is the most beautiful song.
Okay. We're going to provide a link to this.
We're going to do so much for our listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dana, you talked about your scar and how you were learning how to play the ukulele. You must be musical as well.
Yeah, I come from a very musical family, and so when I was in school, obviously, I played the clarinet.
Obviously.
I don't know how that was.
I mean, I was just gonna say, just by looking at you, Dana, you look like you played the clarinet.
I know.
Yeah, I was gonna say
and
that,
I was pretty good at it. I was first chair all state.
Nice. That's great.
Yeah. And then I played oboe in the concert band. I was not quite as good at that because it's very hard. It's a double reeded instrument. It's difficult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I do know how to play, and my family was very musical, so I definitely enjoy and appreciate music, but I wouldn't say I'm great at it. My husband bought me the ukulele because he was going away to work on a movie, and I was going to be left alone in LA for like 6 months. And he was like, I try to do something new every year. I try to learn something new every year. That's my New Year's resolution. And so for that year, I had said I wanted to learn how to play the ukulele. So he bought me one, and then I broke myself on it.
I was gonna say,
man.
Yeah, that was kind of. Do you now like qualify something like this year? I'm going to learn to do this, but it will not put me in the hospital.
I should. That's really a good point.
Maybe like throw that in the universe.
Yeah, so what was the new thing you learned in 2018, and what's up for 2019?
So in 2018, the new thing that I learned was more podcasting information, because people, just for your listeners so they know, like, people think it's just easy. You sit in front of a microphone. There's so much more that goes into it. There's, social media. There's structure of your podcast. There's learning the audio equipment, which obviously you guys have your
Sam.
Not quite as bad. But there's a lot, even when you're not doing that, there's so much that goes to it. So that was my thing for 2018. And I'm really proud of myself. I think I've done an okay job. And then I'm trying, but different years it's been different things. One year I learned how to make jewelry, like wire wrap.
Ooh.
I did that, and I actually ended up doing that to survive for a little bit. I sold jewelry out of a boutique here in Los Angeles.
Wow.
Do you have any of your pieces?
I do. Yeah. I don't have any right here in front of me. I'd have to go get them, but I wear mostly my own jewelry.
Do you sell any of it still, or?
I don't anymore. In Los Angeles, it's a really hard market because everybody's so creative and so amazing.
I bet St. Louis would be a killer market for you.
Yeah, Dana Powell Originals, DPO, Dana
my jewelry. My style is I use semi-precious stones, so they're fancy but still reasonable. And then I like things very dainty. That's just my style, so that's kind of what I design. But yeah, that's what I did for a little bit. That and nannying to keep myself going while I was trying to pursue this career.
Yes.
And are you satisfied with this career? I mean, I noticed in some of the research I did on you, the stalking I did on you.
I love a good stalker.
Yeah. Was that you're actually into producing now yourself? Like you have that side of the business going.
I do. I'm actually producing and writing a lot more. And I thought as an actor that I would be sad seeing someone else bring my stuff to life. And I got to be honest, it's been amazing. I really love seeing my characters brought to life through someone else's mouth and brain.
Yeah.
It's been really exciting. So my writing partner and I, his name's Paul Emerson. He's from the Midwest as well. We've done a lot of branded content. We've made stuff for Uber. We did a commercial for Geek Salad, which is a company out of Springfield, Missouri.
Oh, wow.
And their commercial that we made for them ended up airing in all of the AMC movie theaters all over the United States. So that was kind of cool to go see my commercial that I wrote and produced. But I think when you're in this industry, especially as a woman, as we age, things get weird. I'm a character actress, so the longevity of my career is much longer than what an ingenue would be, but it's still a young person's business. And I was like, this career for me is not a short-term thing. I want longevity in this. And so I started turning to writing and producing, and I've really been enjoying it a lot.
Okay, well, this is like probably a deeply philosophical, but not necessarily philosophical question. When you say it's an ingenue, it's a young woman's business, that's because the decision makers have historically been male.
Correct. Yeah.
So we're evolving and we're changing, and hopefully with more women like yourself and others becoming like owners in the business.
Yes, and I think there's been a real push for that. You know, I think when you think of ingenues right now, there is a push for more older women. You know, we have Susan Sarandon, Glenn Close, Meryl Streep, all these older women who are just, I almost cursed. I'm sorry.
No, you can curse. You can totally curse on our podcast.
I mean, Michelle's dropped several F-bombs already.
Okay, good. Yeah. They're just fucking phenomenal. You cannot argue with that. And so they're sort of opening doors for us. But I think historically speaking, it's always been a young woman's game, a young person's game. And that seems to be changing a little bit. And for me, I'm like, if I'm not going to be a part of it on screen, I still have the desire and the love for this business and this art, because I do see it that way. Even when I do very silly things, there's people, especially in the political climate and everything happening, laughter is so important. It's a medicine.
It is.
So, yeah. And so that's what I do. But I think that even for more dramatic things, like women of a different age are being allowed to have a voice more and more. And I want that on every level. I want it as a writer. I want it as a performer. I want it as a producer. I want women to be important in this industry. And I think that's happening for us.
You know, to me, I think about as I've aged and been through life and have experienced every year more and more things, right? And life is so hard. It surprises me that, you know, in the film industry, that, you know, the young, beautiful person is the ultimate attraction, because one, there's more of us that aren't in our prime anymore than there are that are in their prime. And two, you know, so relating to somebody, right? Like me as somebody who's wanting to watch something that I can relate to, that's not the young person. So there's that point. And then I'm going to do the 1, 2, and D. And D. You know, I think as somebody with talent, you know, yes, there are there are people that come out of the gates as actors that are young talent, they're shining stars. But, I think as you experience life, you have more that you can pull into your craft. And so that only informs your ability to take on a different role. So it surprises me that there isn't more opportunity to, for older women.
I think so too. It's happening more and more, but I think that I feel like that's sort of my job too. Like as I come into my older years, not that I'm old, we all look great, right?
It's because we drink the God's nectar.
The good wine, yes. I think that my life experience is carrying me into that realm, and I feel I think maybe in generations past, women have been silenced a little more than we are now. And I go above and beyond maybe what we're allowed to at this point, but I think that's important because that's how we stretch our boundaries. And it's unfortunate that women have boundaries, but it's something that we've realized and we're trying to correct. And I think that's my goal. I want to be a powerful voice and a powerful woman in this industry. One of the things that about me is I'm not your Hollywood typical starlet, right? I'm overweight. I'm not the prettiest girl that walks in a room immediately, but I have a strong sense of who I am. And that sense of who I am is over half the population of the United States.
Exactly.
Right? And we are not represented in social media, in magazines, and all of these things. And I've always took a very strong stance of, I've been asked to audition for things that put someone of my type in a poor light, painted me in a poor light. And I've gone back and said, I'm not going to portray this because it's sending a message to women like me of age and with a different weight than what we normally see in movies, all of those things, that we are unfortunate and unliked and not capable of having an amazing life. And that's not the life I lead. I am very lucky. My husband is adorable. I have an amazing child. My husband's probably handsomer than what normal people would think I'm worth. But he loves me he married me at my heaviest. He believes in my talent. And so do I. Yeah. And I'm not going to say to other women, you can't have the life that I actually lead. That's not correct. You can have the life I lead, no matter what you look like. And that's been a really important thing for me as a producer, as an actor, as a person in a small but public light.
Well, I think one of the really cool things about the way technology has evolved for us is that it's moving like the gatekeepers out of the way. Emily and I had this conversation like last week about, our podcast can be anything we possibly want it to be. There's nothing is stopping us from being what we want to be. We can write, you can produce, you can do straight to YouTube, you can do whatever you want. So those typical gatekeepers that were there, whether on the film side, publishing, music, they're slowly being pushed aside. It just then requires you as the producer and the talent and to find your market, which before, if you like tied into a studio or to a recording label or a publishing house, you had that built in. So that's like a little bit more of a struggle, a little bit more of a learning curve for us. But technology, Netflix, Amazon, streaming services, you can be and create whatever you want to create. It's all there for you to do. Nobody's holding you back other than yourself.
No, not at all. And the ability to grow. Like, I'm super excited for you guys because, something called Cliterally Speaking.
Right.
May have been like, don't listen to those wild chicks, but
right.
Now it's like, I want to know what they're about. And then people are going to come to you and realize like, holy cow, I really relate to this. And that's empowering. What you're doing is empowering women. And I really applaud you for that.
It is crazy. And the women, I know Emily and I have talked about this, the women we have had on our show, the women that we have lined up to be on our show. And we're like,
Everyone has an amazing
pinch
story.
me, you know,
Yeah.
because we're blown away, and it's like I want to do this every day because there's so many stories and there's so much to be said.
Yeah.
But like every day.
And
Now,
I think we've all been out there all this time. And
right.
now that we're realizing, oh my God, we got a band together. We need each other. And there's someone else out there that thinks like me.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
It's awesome. Oh my gosh. This has really been fabulous. Will you come on again? Because one of the things we always say is we don't drink with our friends just one time. We drink with them over and over.
I feel like I'm best friends with you guys already.
Right. That's great. Yes.
Yeah, I know. We're coming for Christmas. Did you know that? We're coming for Christmas.
I'm excited. I'll be here. I mean, what else am I gonna do?
Well, I know that you're maybe the next time you're in St. Louis for any filming for the, hopefully, fingers crossed, pilot, remotely working, that we can get together in the studio and
that's
actually drink live.
Is that a done deal?
Yeah,
that's a done deal.
All
I mean,
right.
if nothing else, we're gonna go out somewhere in St. Louis and then tweet it so everybody can meet us there.
That's fabulous.
That's crazy. I'll have to get let me know ahead of time so I can get something new done in my hair. You know, I can put something, you know, special together. It'll probably be black. It'll be black. I just need to get a new black.
That'll be my favorite. We'll match.
Yeah, it'll be a new black. But Dana, we have kept you busy, and we have talked to you for a long time now, and we're really so appreciative of you giving your time and talking with us today.
Thank you for joining us. It's really been
my pleasure. And I just want to tell people, if they haven't told all their friends to subscribe and listen to you guys, go out and do it, because this is good for us. This is good for women. It's good for men to learn more about us, and you guys are doing a really, really great thing. I just adore you.
Could you text me that every morning? Because that kind of affirmation would be really
Absolutely.
nice. Yeah. I'm always looking for people to tell me really great things about myself. When
I'm your girl. I love doing it.
Appreciate it.
We can do the same.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh yeah. I can. Oh yeah.
Because we absolutely feel the same way about your podcast. You have the same mission. We have the same mission. We slightly different voices, but the same mission.
And if Allison's available sometime and she'd like to come on chit chat with us sometime on Clearly Speaking, we'd love to have her.
Are you guys sure? She's a lot. I mean, I know I'm a lot. Allison's 5 times Dana.
Okay. Well, we would move the computer back like there, and we'd be fine. Yeah, it's just fine. We got it. We got it handled.
She will love you guys.
We'll send her some kombucha or something.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll send her a box of juice.
Yes.
Something like her favorite juice.
Her favorite juice.
Her favorite.
Sober. We got to keep it.
That's right.
Well, isn't she expecting?
She's expecting.
Oh, there you go.
We'll send her sparkling grape juice.
Oh, she would die.
Yeah. So. All right. Well, we're going to let you finich the rest of your bottle in peace and quiet.
Thank you, ladies.
I have like a swallow left.
I know.
Cheers.
Cheers. We're going to clink the screen. Cheers.
Thank you,
Thanks
Dana.
for joining us. Looking forward to the next conversation.
Thank you so much, guys.
Have a great day. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.